Okay, so I wanted to start off by showing you the templates themselves and what you're going to end up getting. This is the how-to guide, the instructional guide, in case, you want to read it. I've split the house into 3 parts. I split it into the platform, the house, and then the roof. The most complicated, of course, is the roof. The roof is a little bit more complex. But this is the how-to guide, so you'll get that. And it will come just the guide, and then there's another file that has the title pages if you want to do like I've done here and put, split it up so you can easily find what you're looking for. And then the templates themselves, this is just my notes for when I was making the template, making the house. And then here are the templates themselves. This is the platform, and then it goes into the house itself, and that's still the house, and then here comes the roof. So I like doing it this way, printing it out and then cutting out the templates to everything, even though some things like the hinges I will end up printing out, and like this stuff I print out as well. But sometimes though you may not want to print it out, or you want to use scrap paper, so it's good to have your templates just so that you can use them if you want to. So let's start with the very first thing that you need to create, and that is the platform, because the platform is what the house will actually sit on. Without it, you don't have to make the platform if you don't want to. I like it because it just makes it look neater, and you can also put, like at Christmas time or even Halloween, like little trees or whatever around it, just to, decorate it a little bit more. So I am actually going to be making a Thanksgiving theme house for y'all for this video. So let me get my supplies. Okay, so I've got my chipboard, and since I'm making a Thanksgiving theme, I'm going to go ahead and go with the brown or natural chipboard. I will say you're going to use quite a bit of chipboard, maybe 4 or 5 pieces for the house, because some of it you can use scrap pieces to make. So yeah, just to let you know that. Alright, so let's start with the platform. And the first thing that I'm going to make is the top to the platform. And I'm just going to use my template. Now, I do highly suggest that if you're to make this out of sturdy material, I don't think it's quite going to stand if you use just cardstock. Because when I first started making this, that's what I used. I used cardstock, and it was flimsy. So you're going to need something sturdy. Chipboard, a couple pieces of poster board put together, cardboard, that kind of stuff. So, with that said, and for the construction of the house itself, you will need, a template. When you're matting, you can either use the template or print it out. But of course, when you're making the house itself, the platform, the roof, you're going to need the template. And since I'm using chipboard, I will end up using my utility knife, not my craft knife, my utility knife. It seems to work better. And when you're doing your template, this is the score line right here, and you just lift this up and you're going to score it, or make your line to know to score it right there. Oop. Okay. And then you're done with that. And then I'm just going to take my craft knife, or not my craft knife, I'm sorry, not my craft knife, my utility knife, if I can find it. And I'm going to just carefully cut this out. I will show you how to do it, you know, like this, and then I will probably just fast forward to just putting it together, because I don't think this is the wrong utility knife. Sorry guys, because I don't think it's necessary for y'all to watch me cut out 4 pieces of the house, you know what I'm saying? So just use a straight edge to, you know, keep you in line with the line. And it takes like 4 or 5 passes to actually cut through this chipboard, but you'll feel it when you do. Okay. And then the trick is, especially for the scoring, what the trick is, and I'm trying not to get my head in the way, forgive me if it is. I'm hoping it's not. I can't really tell my thing. Oops. There we go. The trick to the scoring is just to barely put pressure. And I go about 3 times. I feel like I need to go 4. But the point is, you don't want to go through the chipboard. Not like when you're cutting it out. You're just scoring it so it will bend easier. So like when I'm cutting out, I put a lot of pressure on it to, right? Pop on out. Yep. Still caught somewhere. Right there. Let it give way. Okay, and then this should bend. If it's giving you a hard time, don't force it. Like that's a little hard. So I'm going to go one more time. Gently. Gently into the night, y'all. Gently into the night. Okay, like that, it bends. See? Alright, and what I'm going to do is, before I move on to the next step, now this I'm going to keep because I can use this. It might not be able to be used for the platform, but it could be used for different parts of the house itself. So keep your scraps, of course, you know, I think that's a given. I don't think anybody really throws their big scraps away. Alright, but I am going to take this Vintage Photo Distress Stain, and I'm just going to go on the edges. I didn't have to do this on my prototype because I used black. However, I feel like just in case we may need this. And you don't need to go on the inside because that's not going to be shown. Because this is the top of the box, and what happens is this is going to end up going, this tab will end up going into the bottom. So this part is just the lid that you're never going to see. So, but I am going to just go ahead and put a border around it just to make it look a little better. That's optional. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I want to. Alright, so that's our top, so we'll just put that to the side. And then the next thing that we need to do is we need to cut out the rest of the pieces. And the bottom is next. So again, I'm not going to bore you with this tedious work of putting it on, tracing it, and cutting it out. If there's something major different, I will come back on. Okay, I will show you how I do the sides. I go ahead and I lay one side down, and this is, again, just that scrap piece after I cut out the bottom. Make sure I get a straight line on this. And again, I'm going to fold it over where that score line is to make sure that I get a good clean score line so I know where to score it. And then what I do is I butt my other side up to this side, like so, because it's the same size, right? And then I can just continue to trace what I need to trace. And then I need to do the score line. And then our top and bottom connector should fit over here, and it does. So this whole one page here is pretty much used up, or sheet of chipboard. Once you get these things cut out, here's the other. And then once you've got these cut out, that is pretty much all you need with the chipboard. The other you will print out with, you can either print it out or use the template to cut your piece. I like the thin pencil, but sometimes it goes under the thing, under your template if you're not careful. And it makes it wonky. But that's a good thing about using a straight edge when you're cutting, because you can get it, even though if your lines are not that straight. And, you know, this was all handmade, so it may not be the straightest either when you get ready to cut it out. But as you can see, the bottom, and I'm just going to label it, the bottom is a little bit wider than the top, y'all. It needed to do that so it can take that lid tab in it. So I purposefully did that, so that's not a mistake. But yeah, so when I put these on the, after I cut them out and then put them on the sheet and then I traced them, you know, I could have had them on the sheet a little crooked. So just be mindful of that. I tried not to do that, but that's why it's good to use a straight edge so that you know, if you're crooked or not. Like for instance, on this one, I just want to make sure this line should just go straight on down. So I'm going to check my straight edge up here and then a straight edge down here to make sure that you know, on this line. Starts right here. Well, I'm going to cut this whole thing out because it will be easier if I do it that way. Okay, that's that. And then this is the line that I need to cut, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this bottom off too. And again, I'm just using my straight edge just to make sure that I'm straight, even if it's not quite on the line, you know, in case I screwed up when I transferred it over or whatever. It's perfectly imperfect. And then while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and score this line. Again, I'm not putting very much pressure on it because I don't want to go through it. But if you do, it's not the end of the world, and you don't have to cut out another piece. You'll just need to make like a hinge with a piece of cardstock to put it back together. But it can be put, unlike Humpty Dumpty, it can be put back together, right, y'all? All right. And then I'm gonna score this line. And again, I'm not putting a lot of pressure when I'm scoring because you don't want to cut through. It's number 3. Oh, that's number 4. Should be good. And then I will just use my straight edge and... Okay, sorry my battery died. I really wish this thing would, you know, beep when the battery is about to go dead. It doesn't. It gives you no warning whatsoever. I mean, it does. It tells you that it's going low on the LED screen, but when you're in the middle of doing something like this, you're not aware of that. So I'm just cutting off the edges, off the little corners here, just so it'll be easier to tuck in. So there's our sides. And again, once you get it scored, you want to gently, see that up here is still a little, and that looks really not pretty, but it's okay because we do have edges we can put on it if you want, which I probably will because I do like that look. But I'm gonna do the same thing like I did with the top and the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and just put some of this stain on the edges here. Sorry if y'all hear that. One guy is here blowing the trimmings away. And no, I'm not that rich to have a lawn guy. I live in a HOA and we pay dues. And okay, as I was saying before, I got rudely interrupted by the dogs barking. I live in an HOA. And see right here, I forgot to put the score line, but that's okay because I know this is supposed to be like the same. So I'm going to just make sure it's even, and then I'm going to just use the score line from the one at the top and score it that way. No big deal. No foul. Do it one more time. But yeah, I live in an HOA and we pay dues, of course, and part of paying the dues, the advantages of that is that we get our lawn, our front, just our front yard, not the back. The back we still have to do, but they come and they cut the front yard for us. So that's about the only advantage to, and my thing has gone crooked here. I hate that when that happens, but I think it will be okay. I'm not really crazy about living in an HOA. is what it is. Alright. So you get the gist of what you need to do. Okay, next part is to do your mats. This is your hinges that you're going to use, and then over here on this page you have your, let me back out a little bit, you have your side and your top, or your front and your front side and the back side, and then this is the top and the bottom. So you need to print this page right here 2 times, page 5, you need to print it 2 times. This page is your hinge page, and I suggest that you print it out 3 times, this page, because you're going to use one page to actually put the box together, or the platform rather, together, right? You're going to use this longer piece to attach your top piece to your top, okay? And then you're going to use these 2 top pieces to connect this to the bottom and the bottom connector to the bottom. And then you use the 2 smaller ones to connect the sides, okay? But I'm going to show you that in a minute. And then the other 2 copies that you're going to use, they are for if you want to put edges, once you get your platform together, if you want it to look polished, if you don't want to see like the raw edges, then these will be used because they will nicely cover these edges up, okay? You will only use this hinge, the C hinge, 1 time though if you're doing the edges, and you will cut it into 1 1/4 inch long things, because that's what's going to go onto, once you get the platform completed, that's what's going to go on the edges of the sides coming up. But I'm going to show you all of this, so if I've confused you, I am so sorry. But just stay tuned and I will show you, because now I'm going to go and print out these on my printer. I am printing them. Another thing that I suggest is, you don't have to do this, but to print on the back side of your pattern paper. If you want to do that. I mean, I only say that because I'm not the straightest of a cutter, and I just didn't want the lines to show onto my pattern paper, so they'll be on the back side of the paper. That's the only reason why I say that, but it's your preference, whatever you want to do. Alright, so let me go print these out and I'll be back. Before I print them out, I wanted to show you what I'm using for the for my paper for this house. It's All Seasons 4 by Paper Studio. So I got this at Hobby Lobby when it was on sale. And they have, of course, all the seasons in here. So I'm just going to put it this way so y'all can see what I'm talking about. So I've got all of these to choose from. And I think, just like I did the house, I like kind of like the writing on the front and the back. So I think I'm going to use this for my front and my back of the house itself. There's so many decisions to make though, y'all. Like I'm thinking maybe that for the platform, but then again I kind of dig the leaves for the platform though too. I think I'm gonna go with the leaves for the platform, and then for the sides of the house, I may go with the acorns for the sides of the house. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So, but for right now, I just need the platform, and so, or I could go with the turkey. I think I'm going to go with the leaves, though, for the platform. Kind of like that. We have these leaves, too. Yeah, I'm going to go with these. And what I'm going to do, because I need 2 pages of it, I'm take out 2 pages, and I'm going to cut these down to 8.5 by 11. I made it where all of this can be used in 8.5 by 11. So I'm just going to cut these down. And I kind of like this pattern too, because no matter what way you put it on, it's okay. You know, there's not a one right way or one wrong way. I mean, the leaves are going in all different kind of directions. So let me cut this down to 8.5 by 11 and get my printed out stuff, and then I will be back. Okay, and so here it is printed out. So here's my, oops, I printed out the wrong page. Sorry, I'm gonna redo that. That's okay. Luckily, this will not be seen, so. But here's my pattern paper, right? And if you notice, it doesn't go all the way off to the edge. It just depends on your printers. It's scanned correctly, but when I print out, I kind of go off the edge, and that's okay, because I mean, you can just keep cutting it to your preference, really, because I only made it probably 1/8 of an inch of a border, you know, to mat it, and some people may like it 3/16 or even 1/4 of an inch. So I kind of left it short for those that wanted to do it whatever way they, you know, like their borders around their matting, because some people like a pretty, you know, nice border, and some people like it kind of thin. So I figured if I just did it 1/8, then you could cut it whatever way you really wanted to. I'm not going to show y'all me cutting it out. I mean, you know, I will get my cutter for you. It's the Fiskars Precision Rotary, this big boy, and unfortunately it will not fit on my desk with my camera here, so I can't use it showing y'all, and I would not trust myself to cut this out by hand because I am not a straight cutter. I can't do straight lines very well. I do love this thing though. It's awesome, and you can cut, it says you can cut chipboard with it, and I've done it like one or two times, and I'm so afraid it's going to dull the blade. Even though it says this blade will never dull, I'm still kind of afraid it will. And so, but I mean, it's awesome because it will give you the straight lines that you need if you know, are like me and not a straight-handed type of person. But so I'm going to go ahead and reprint my goof, and then I will cut it out, and then I'll come back. Sorry, I ran out of room on my disc. So let's continue. So we're gonna attach B to the bottom thingy there. Connector, that's what I called it. Like I almost forgot what I called it. So let us do that. Hey Sashi. Hey Sashi. Sashi coming to say hello. Okay, I can never cut these score tape very well. More power to those that can. Alrighty. Sorry if I seem a little out. I actually went grocery shopping too. I had to get some groceries. So I'm just going to put this on the very edge of the, here, let me see if I can move it up a little bit, of the bottom piece. We had like no food for lunch in the house. And it's late. It's like after 3 and I just now finished eating lunch. So, yeah. Alright, and so we're going to just put the bottom up along the edge. And we'll adhere adhere it. I took apart a old Revlon that my hairdryer came in to figure out how to make this little platform. It was quite a challenge, to say the least. I don't know what happened there, but okay. Now we'll work on the sides. And we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to use our side pieces to adhere the sides to the platform. Because I only wanted it 1 inch tall. And I think it's a good size for the house to sit on. The width and the length. So yeah, but I had to tear a box apart. That was my first prototype. And I'm going to go ahead and just do both just here. Usually this is what I do. I usually just put tape on all my hinges first. And then I connect everything. Okie dokie, or tea-chokey. Alright. And again, I use the glue just to give myself a little bit of time in case I have to maneuver it in a different way. Okay, that looks good. Yep. Okay. Alright, and then we'll turn around and we'll do this side. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to hit that. Unlike the boxes that I've done, we're not opening this at all. It will stay shut. So that's why I didn't really care about printing on the wrong side or anything like that, because no one's going to see the inside of this. Unless, of course, you want to make it that way. I did that as well, too, for it to be your preference. But I'm not going to have it opened because it's kind of hard to do once you... I mean, I guess it's not, but I didn't have it where you can open it. But you're more than welcome to do that. You know, that's the beauty about this template, is that you can customize it to, you know, what you want it to look like. Oopsie. Just want to make sure. There we go. Alright. Because I'm going to show you what I mean. These will come in and we're going to glue these onto the side there. Well, we will, trust me, we will. And these two. Okay, well, let's just do that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it this side, this way. And so we're not like this anymore. We're on the back side now. We're actually on the side that you can see. And I'm going to take scored tape and I'm going to put them on these little tabs right here. I go vertical with them. And I put like a couple of strips on, just so that I know it's going to attach pretty well. Dang on. I'm feeling really duh. Oh well, it doesn't matter. As long as it's on there. Okay. Go ahead and do this first, this part first. So we're going to fold it in and then carefully put the sides together. Well, you're just going to create a square. And we'll do the same with these. I don't know what happened with the chipboard when I was scoring, but some of it didn't score very well. But I'm not worried. That is why I will end up using the edge of, the hinges again. Well, to cover any ugliness that might have. See, like that right there, I'm not sure why that happened. That has never ever happened to me, and I've made tons of boxes and stuff, so I'm not quite sure why that happened. Fell. Let me grab it. Now what I want to do is I just want to make sure that these edges are down. Right? I mean, this alone can be a cute little hideaway box. I mean, whatever you want to use it for. But then what you do is you close it, and this goes inside like so. And that's why I'm saying you can either keep it just like this if you want, and make it like it's a little secret box, right? Or what I'm going to do is, this is not sticking down very well. But if you so desire, you can okay, let's see. This has been a little weird here. And I believe it's because that was weird when it got cut out. So it's just being a weirdo. I mean, that's what happens when you make homemade stuff, you know. But in the end, it should be okay. And it is. It'll be alright. What I may need to do, just may need to cut off just a little bit of that. Let it go in there better. There we go. That's what it needed. Okay. Then what I'm going to do, I need my scoreboard back out. Again, you can keep it like, I mean, if you want to keep it like a box that you can open and all that, then you've got that. But what I'm going to do, because I want it to look neater, is I'm going to use my hinges that I cut out. Remember, I printed out 3 pages of these. So I'm going to score them. And use them as an edge cover so that my edges will look neater. And I think I want them on this side. So, and why you had to print out 3 is because you have a top and you have a bottom. So you'll want to be able to cover both. So you needed 3 papers. So there's one side. And this will be another side. So I'm just going to cut these and I'm going to end up scoring them. Since my box is not wanting to close very well, I put some fiber tack down in there. This is optional again, or you could have put score tape on it before you put it together. But I want it to stay closed. I don't want it to open. And I think it was from the scoring that happened. Again, I've never had my chipboard do that, so I don't understand why that happened. But you know, it happens. Handmade stuff, things happen. You know? So I just am going to try to keep that together for a minute. Just so that it'll have a second to hook together. Because I mean, that will probably end up being on the bottom anyway, so you really won't see it that much. But, you know, I want it to stay closed. And again, I'm pretty sure it's from that scoring. See, it was supposed to score there, and for some reason it didn't. And again, I've never ever had chipboard do that to me, so I don't know why it did that. Of course, you know, when you're videotaping, that's what happens. It's like the video gremlins come out to play. They're like, you've never had that happen. Here, let me make it happen. That's my theory anyway. The little video gremlins. It's all their fault. And those that make videos, how-to videos, knows what I'm talking about. Alright, so I'm just going to add this one on. Yep. I mean, see, you really don't see it once you get this edge on, but I still was not quite digging the way that that was looking, you know? It was staying open a little bit. I did not want that, so, alright. It's okay. Because I'll probably put that on the back side anyway. So no one will really see it. You know? I mean, that's what you have to do when you make homemade stuff. Alright, so now I'm going to do... Oh, let me ink. Let me ink. That's what I love about homemade things, really, is the little imperfections. I know people think I'm crazy when I say that, but... I don't know. They're perfectly imperfect. You know? least that's my thinking anyway. As a perfectionist, and I am a proclaimed perfectionist, I have to kind of think that way, or I would never do any kind of crafting whatsoever, because I would never think that it's good enough. So I think I tell myself that just to keep from going bonkers. Okay, so I'm gonna have it go like this. All right. And again, we're just going to do the exact same thing. We're going to put tape. And I will link to the bottom this tape that I'm using, the score tape, and my chipboards. I got them from Amazon. So I'll put a link in the description. The chipboard, when I first purchased it, wasn't too awfully badly expensive. It was only like $7 a packet. But I think it's gone up. The last time I looked, it went up wrongly. Here, I'll have to do it this way. I want this because if you can tell, there's a little bit of a mark there. So I want it to go down this way so that the paper, the mat will cover that. So that's why I'm being particular about where that one went, if you're wondering. Oh no, go back. And this also, putting this edges on here, also helps make the box a little bit more, or not box, I don't know why I keep calling it a box, because I guess it is sort of kind of like a box, like a cigar box really, isn't it? But it will, it makes the platform even more sturdy if you use the edges, I feel. And I mean, it's not like the house itself is heavy, but you know, this is what everything is going to be sitting on, so you kind of want it to be, you know, sturdy. And this just helps it, and it makes it look pretty. And we all want it to look pretty, don't we? All right. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to do that same thing for the other side. Okay, and so I've got all the sides on, all the edges covered and inked up. And I'm just going to show you on this one that you take the little corner piece and you just do it the same way. We're going to put a little bit of score tape on here. And then you're just going to put it on the corners, like so. And again, it just makes it pretty, and it gives it a little bit, it makes it a little bit more sturdy. Again, it's your choice. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. And then I will ink that. And then what we'll need to do, and actually before I can do the other sides, some of this is still wet. I need to wait until it dries. So you want to make sure that if you have inked it, if you've used a stain or even just ink from a ink pad, you want to make sure it's good and dry before we move on to the next step. So I'm going to let this dry and then I will be back. Okay, so I've got the top and bottom and sides cut out. And as you can see, it is still a little long and a little wide. So I'm going to go and cut these just probably 1/8 of an inch shorter. This one maybe Okay, the length is good on this one, but the width is a little bit too wide, so I'm going to cut those. And then let me just check these, and the length looks okay. It's the width that needs to come out on those. And again, I cut them this way only for those who, you know, for your preference. If you wanted it to cover the whole thing, then, you know, that's what this would do. So, alright, so they all need to be cut. These, the length is fine. It's the width that needs to be trimmed. So, I'm going to go trim them, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's see. Yes. I like that better. Okay. Just check and make sure. Yes, much better. Okay. So before I actually adhere them, I'm going to ink the sides of them. And I think everyone knows how to do this, but in case you're new, I never knew. You just take your ink, and this is a Tim Holtz, I do believe, blending thing that you can use. So I'm just going to do this on all 6 of these pieces. Okay, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've got them all inked. So now I'm just going to glue them down, and I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac. I find that this is the best glue to use. But you know, use whatever glue that tickles your fancy. I mean, I do have, what's it called? Tacky glue? I've got it in clear, actually. But I've just not ever used it for this. I've always just stuck to this Fabri-Tac because it just works so good. Because it gives you a little bit of time to move it if you need to move it, you know. So, alright, so I'm just going to do that for all the sides, tops and the bottoms and all that good stuff, and then I'll be back with you. And then there you have it. Our platform is done. Isn't that cute? So cute. And then you can decide which way you want it to look for when the house sets on it. So this video is complete, how to do the platform. The next video will be how to cut out the house and how to put the house together. So be on the lookout for that. The link to my template will be in the description. It'll be in my Etsy store, so go take a gander at it and purchase it if you would like to make one of these houses for yourself. Again, you're going to get the guide, the title pages, you'll get the platform template, you'll get the house template, and you will also get the roof template. You'll get everything you need in order to create the house. And again, well, I can't show it on here, but I'll put a picture of the house up, the completed house. And this is the large house, and I am planning on doing a medium and possibly a small. So, again, the link will be in the description to my Etsy store. And I will also link the score tape and the chipboard in case you're wondering where to get that. If you're wondering where to get the Fabri-Tac, I get it from Joann's, and I use a 50% off coupons because it is a little expensive. It's like $15. But I feel like, you know, if you use your 50% off, then it's half of that. And what, $7.50, and I don't think that that's bad. This whole bottle, you know, I did probably, what, seven keepsake boxes before I needed to open up a new bottle. So it does last quite a while. So it's worth it to me. It's a good sturdy glue. There's the word I was looking for. Alright, y'all. Well, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and if you've not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And if you have subscribed, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified for when I put up new videos. Alright, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Y'all be good to one another, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.